Easy people, nice things here. Let me move that a little bit. Right, I'm going to try and make this a little quick and tip laden. Today I want to talk about knobs. Oh, misses! Yeah, and it's the knobs on the Akai Force, right? And how you can utilize them in loads of ways. As you've probably seen in the basic DJ setup, I kind of showed you through them. So I'm not going to take you through all of them. I'm just going to take you through the things what are essential for you to kind of get your head round and make things better for yourself. Right, if you press knobs, the knobs button, and you hold it, it shows you which types you have. You have volume, that will control all the volume. It will make it into a normal mixer. So each track will be a volume track, just like a standard mixer. Pan, obviously it's pan. The sends will send to sends and blah, blah, blah. Right, I'm going to tell you for note, you don't need to care about these. They're irrelevant because you can get all of this information on the rest of these. You can get the information for these, on that, and on that. So these two, you can get the information for all of them anyway. For quickness, there may be times when that's just easier because you can just turn down the track that way. But for the most part, the main ones are these three. And now I'm going to explain something else as well. When you use, apart from screen, track and project, you can customize. So track basically just gives you all the information of what's on that track. But anything which is left spare, depending on what page you are in, you can actually add customization to. And what I mean by that is, example, I've got this track, right? In fact, I'm gonna talk about screen first. The thing about screen, what's good, and why I always say you should use that, and that's your number one thing to use, is that is what is it called? Context. It's context sensitive. So depending on what page you're on, the dials here change to suit that. The key thing what you want to look at is this. Whenever you're on a plugin, i.e. hype, and I'm going to just say hype. I'll check with TubeSync before I commit to that. And I was right, yeah. I'm just going to go with hype because hype's the main one, what you would probably want to do any adjustments for quickly, right? Whenever you're on hype, if you press, when you're in screen, which you should be at all times, that's your priority one, you're in hype, and you press the knobs button, again, it goes to 9 and 6. When you see 9 and 6 appear up, you have control over the macros, and the macros are basically the fastest way you can change a sound without having to like menu dive or anything like that. So for example, I've got like 8 parameters here, which on this side are all effects. This one is all effects and the master volume, and this side is effects and cut off. So the way I would look at it is, on this side here, these are all effects too. So if you go to here, you can see all the effects too, so you can change them there if you want to go into. And on this side are all effects ones. That's the easiest way of looking at it. You don't have to even get that deep. I've got a sound here. I'm going to look at the sound. What sound is this? Right, I've got my sound here, right? I'm going to change that to a lead. Summer lead. I was messing around with that. Right. Now, this is that sound. I like this sound. Yeah, it's funky and it's doing what it needs to do. But, like, say I want to smooth out that sound. All I have to do is make sure I'm in screen, then press that once so that it goes to 9:16, and now all of these knobs control all of these, so now I can make the cut off of that, so I can make it more soulful and funky. So on the tune what I've just got, and all of this is automated, so if I wanted, I could record this in as automation. So that's cut off. Maybe I want to fix the resonance. Maybe I want to fix the modulation. I don't know what this modulation is because the modulation is different for each one. So it's not really doing out on this track. Distortion. No distortion. Delay and reverb. So if I had a sound and it was too reverby for me, let me switch on the lines a bit down. That's better. So say if I had this and there was too much delay, I could turn on the delay without having to deep dive into here. Same with reverb. Pumper as well. Like I've shown you on the pumper effect before. There's pumper effects built into every one of these type things, and you can change how much it pumps and at what speed it pumps. So at the moment it's just on the standard setting. I think it's like I can have a look. It's on quarters. So if I press this, I can pull that. So that's a quick way of getting that sidechain effect, and also the master volume. So I can turn down the master volume and still have the mixer at the same level. So remember that and keep that in mind, and that's on hype. So that saves you a load of bother, because instead of you going, oh well, what's this and what's that, you can kind of get a sound what you want in a ballpark. So this sound, say I like this sound, but I don't like the reverb. Maybe I don't like the delay. Feels like thunder. It's weird, isn't it, how you can kind of sense when it's going to start raining. I can feel it's going to rain. Let me just 1 second. Yeah, wow. Yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, it's weird. You can sense rain. Humans, eh? So anyway, that's that screen on hype. So the other thing about screen, why it's useful, is for things like clips. I've got no clip here. Let me go to the clip. Your screen will affect your start and positions or anything like that. I've already talked about, or if you have seen, I've already talked about zooming in and zooming out, and how you can use zoom in and zoom out to move about a clip. And if I zoomed out and I wanted to scroll that clip, I can use this to scroll. And you can do all of these, and they're automatic because it's like I say, it's context sensitive. Now the other thing what I wanted to talk about, let me go back to that, was what I was saying about track. Track and project are similar in that the project, you can customize all of the project knobs to work across everything. So for example, I could create a project knob where knob 1 turns down the volume on track 5, but knob 2, I don't know, turns up distortion on an effect on track 4. You can set it any way you like. Difference with knob project and track is with track it's specific to that one track, and there's the advantage. If you just wanted something just to affect that one track, you can set it so that whenever you're pressing this track, whatever you do will affect just this track only and not affect the project in its entirety. So for example, I'm going to go on this track 4. You can't see, but I'm on this track, so it doesn't really matter. I'm on this track, right? And I'm going to decide in Mixer, I'm going to add an effect, and I'm going to add the filter gate, right? So I'm going to add the filter gate effect, and I want the mix. I want to affect that mix. So now I'm going to go knobs. I'm going to go. I'm making sure I'm in track. That's good. And then I want to find something spare. So let me think. Is there any spare spaces? There isn't really any spare spaces there. So I wouldn't really be able to use that on track. No, I wouldn't really be able to use this for this one because the hype hasn't got any spare spaces. But let's say I'm not bothered. Let's say I'm not bothered about, let me think of something I'm not bothered about using. Right, I'm not bothered about using this oscillator mix, right? I'm not bothered about it for here. I'm going to customize this so that it uses, it affects the filter gate. So all I have to do is press Shift, knobs, and then I'm into knobs. Now I'm in tracks mode, and I'm going to clear this one by pressing reset. Now I've cleared that. This is only going to be for this project. It's going to only be for this song. So like if I load up again and I start a new song, I haven't lost all this information. This is only going to be affecting if I save it into this song for this track. And it's only going to be for this track, and this is what's great about it. Each track can have its own settings. So now, wow, I need to close that window. Nice. Oh crap! 1 second. Noah's Ark here. Noah's Ark. Wow. Right. So I'm going back to what I was saying. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to change this first one to affect the filter gate. So there's lots of ways. I've showed you in the basic setup because I wanted to talk about the fundamentals on that. But I'm going to show you a mad easy way of doing this really quick without having to learn anything. Well, yourself having to learn anything. See this button up here, it says learn. You press that. And then it says it's learning because it shows you. So because I touched this knob, I'm going to show that again. You press the knob that you want to learn. It's highlighted here. You press learn. And then all you have to do is go to the effect that you want to use. So I'm going to go into here and I want this knob to affect the mix. When I turn that, there you go. It was a bit glitchy. There we go. So there's another thing about that. I don't know, they might need to resolve that. Maybe it's part of it. Sometimes you have to kind of just show it. This is a data knob, so this can never be affected. But as soon as you move it, it registers. I'm hoping this isn't a glitch. And it just happens to be a glitch that they've on an oversight. I'm hoping it's intentionally meant to do this because this is ace, they can. So now, if I go back to shift and I come out of that, that's now gonna mix this effect. So watch this now. Because I've got control over that effect. So I've got my tune. And the great thing about that is it's all automated, so I can automate that dial, and just to prove it, that's on that one. I'm going to create another hype. There, I've created another hype, and look, that's back. So it's only on this track. So if I go to this track has got it on there, but this track doesn't. So you can customize 8 of these settings, 8, what am I about? You can customize 16 knobs to do something totally different than what they're meant to be on the track. You can do that, and it'll remain like that, and the only time it'll change is if you load over that track, because then you've just cleared the settings, or if you change out of this. So if I was to go in here, where am I? If I was to go into the effect, can't close that, and I was to go into this effect here, as long as I'm in a filter gate, I can change the presets, I can do everything else. So I could go to this preset, and that's fine. So now I've got the preset. but that's still working. The only time I'd lose it is if I went out here and I decided, right, I'm going to change that into a reverb, and I might as well show you. So if I change this now to something else like, I don't know, filter, this is going to wipe out. So now I've lost that. Yeah. So as long as you understand, as long as you're in the same thing, you can use that. So you don't have to stick with what's on the track. You can create your own. So that's singular. The same thing is true, but for the project. So if I went and I do knobs to project, I can set up all of that for project, but that's the entire project. So regardless of what track I'm on, these knobs don't correspond when I'm in project mode. They only correspond to what I've specifically told them to correspond to. So for example, look at this. These have got nothing on there, but let's say, for the sake of argument, I've touched this one now, and I'm going to learn something here. I don't know. I'm going to learn mute, right? So I'm going to learn mute, this mute here. So now this is going to use mute. So if I go back, shift knobs, I turn that back off. Now this is going to mute. Regardless of whatever else happens when this is in project mode, it's going to mute that track. So there's loads that you can do with that, hopefully. Hopefully I've been quick, even with me running over and back and forth with this crazy ass storm what's just come out, right? You've got to, you should be able to see how that is. A quick question that somebody had asked me is, how does sends work? And you could do the same with sends. So for example, let's say I wanted to send from the master sends to this track, this music track what I created, this one. So this one here, I wouldn't need to do the sends, because all you have to do is, if I press track, right, yeah, that's a good one. Right, so let's say I wanted to have the master echo. There's no reason why you'd need to do it on hype, but no, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it on a drum. I'll do it on a drum because that makes more sense to do it on this. So I've got this drum here, this drum pattern here. I've got solo, solo, shift, turn it back to normal solo, solo. Right, so I've got this drum thing here, and let's say in track mode, as a drum pattern, as a drum track, right, these settings work in track. So you get level, tuning, pan, blah blah blah, because these are the ones they've set up for that. Let's say these settings are brilliant, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, I decide I don't want, I don't know. Let's say I don't want overall tuning, because I think this is overall tuning. Yeah, that's it, A tuning. Let's say, for the sake of that, I didn't want that, and I wanted that to be master delay, right? I've got delays on here. You see there's a delay there. I'll do it to a preset so you can see it. So an echo, I'll do it to quarters so that you definitely know that's echoing. There's no question that's echoing. Right, I want that one to affect this track's echo. All I have to do, again, press knobs, shift knob, and then I'm going to touch this one, and I'm going to reset, because if I don't reset, and I should advise that as well, if I learn, I don't know, maybe that isn't implemented yet, but if I learn over this, I don't think it overwrites, I think it writes in addition. It might, no, actually it overwrites, it doesn't, but that might change. So keep that in mind. The best thing to do to make sure you're safe is just to reset that knob. So I've reset that knob, press learn, then I'll go back to my mixer, and I want to make it affect, I want this channel affected, this track, I want that send to be the effect, the second send, so this second send there. right? I should be able to turn it, but that doesn't work. So what I have to do is I have to move that first, and then it does that. So you've got to use this. This data dial with this knob tells this knob here what to be. So you use that to tell it what it is, and then you can use that and it's just fine. So now, if I go back and I turn off learn, because you want to turn off learn, and you can see when learn's off because that's off, is now if I play this drum track. Go. So, reason why I stipulate that, that's on track. You can do the same thing on knobs. You could just say you want and that was the overall master. That was the master delay. That was a master send. What you were hearing there. Now, keep in mind, you've got 4 sends here, 4 master sends, right? 4 sends on that. Sorry, 4 sends on the track, but in master, right? You have, let me get to inserts over here. You have 4 inserts that you can do on each one. So think about it this way. You could put reverb, delay, flanger, blah, blah, 4 time, cup of tea, and that could be sending from one send. Then you could have something else, and that could be sending. So you could so basically you've got like 6, well not basically, you've got 16 effects you can have running at once through one track on just the master sends. So in addition to that, you could add another 4 effects to just that track alone. Then you could add, if you were using drums, you could add another 4 effects on just that one sound. I would never do that in a million years. It would be a horror show, but the fact that you've got that much amount of flexibility shows you how powerful this is. This went on a little longer than I expected. It was raining, but you know what? Life's like life, so you just have to keep moving. I hope this has been helpful, and catch me again. That was a quick guide to knobs. Please ask me any questions or comments in the bottom, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And as I always say, I keep missing.